Jason, thank you. This is a terrific contribution by the class of 2010, and it is one way of assuring that the students who follow you here to MIT will have as great and perhaps even greater an experience than you have had. Through the senior class gift, our seniors express their thanks to the Institute and its faculty, staff, and students. But I want to express our enthusiastic thanks to the undergraduate class of 2010, which achieved a near miraculous senior gift participation of, Jason said more than 72, we'll call it 73%. It's darn close, and maybe about 73% by the time we finish this afternoon's activities. It is by far the highest in the history of MIT, and I am enormously grateful. Thank you for your enthusiasm for MIT. Now, continuing on the theme of our history, I'd like you to join me in a salute to our 50th reunion class, the MIT graduates of 1960. 176 of them are seated to the right of the stage over there. They proudly marched in today's procession. Wearing their new, brilliant cardinal blazers. Now, when the world thinks of MIT, it thinks of what your generation accomplished. The technological leaps, the scientific discoveries, and the now legendary companies that you brought to life. We welcome you and we thank you for your unswerving commitment to the lasting values and mission of MIT. Thank you. And about our history, this morning we just had the wonderful privilege of hearing from one of MIT's greatest inventors and entrepreneurs, who hails from a neighboring class, the class of 1957, Ray Stata, the founder of analog devices. His life magnificently illustrates how an MIT education, joined with great natural ability and phenomenal hard work, can transform an industry and make our highly digital lives clearer, more vibrant, and more predictable. If you own a cell phone, and my guess is every student does, a flat screen TV or a GPS system, if you've ever had an MRI or been protected by an airbag, you have probably, without knowing it, enjoyed the profound innovations delivered by analog devices. Ray, thank you very much for your comments today. And now I want to turn my attention to all of today's graduates of MIT. This day truly is for you. Here in the stately embrace of Killian Court, we gather to celebrate your success. You've distinguished yourselves in courses of study that stand among the most demanding in the world. For all that you have accomplished, we congratulate you. But in the midst of celebrating your achievements, our joy would be incomplete if we did not recognize two groups of people who helped bring you to this moment. First, your families and friends, many of whom join us today with justifiable pride and joy. We welcome them, knowing full well that none of you would be here today clothed in solemn academic regalia without the constant confidence of family members and friends who embraced your dreams and lighted your paths. This is their day too, so graduates, I invite you to rise and join me in thanking your families and friends. And the second group to thank includes your many teachers and mentors here at MIT. Our remarkable faculty have devoted their lives to exploring and explaining the unknown. And they welcomed you to join them in the race to the frontiers of human understanding. Let's take a moment to thank the women and men who shared their discoveries, ignited your enthusiasm with their own, and taught you the infinitely useful discipline of mind and hand. Thank you, faculty. Now, for a moment, I'll presume to speak on behalf of the faculty, but have to say that one of the greatest pleasures of being part of MIT's academic community is that all of us are always teachers and always students, all at the same time. And so today, though it's technically my job to offer a charge to you, our graduates, I want to start by explaining how much my generation can learn from yours. I'm going to skip past the things that we'll frankly probably never learn, like how to unfriend someone, or how to talk about Twitter without twittering. And I'll move on to a few qualities that seem to shine out in everything you do, and that the world needs now more than ever. My generation endured, and frankly sometimes incited, struggles that threatened to tear this nation apart. Those struggles, while accelerating change in many dimensions, often produced more noise than effect. And they left cracks in the pillar of community, especially in the idea of responsibility to the larger community beyond the self. When Bill Gates came to campus this spring, he encouraged you, as he said, to make sure that our brightest minds are working on humanity's most important problems. But with so many of you already devoting your creativity, time, and passion to tackling the world's most pressing challenges, he spoke here at MIT to an audience not merely inclined to follow his advice, but those already leading the way. Yet your generation wears its commitment to the greater good quite lightly. You use your skills to repair a broken world, but you seem to see nothing remarkable about it. You simply expect it of each other and of yourselves. Over the past decade, the number of students who volunteer through MIT's Public Service Center has certainly grown somewhat, but the real difference lies in the depth and ambition of their engagement, which has blossomed from interest in volunteering in the neighborhood now and again, to a deep culture of service that has inspired members of the class of 2010 to launch a free summer camp for the children of local cancer patients, to bring battery-enhanced electricity to remote villages in Tanzania, and to design wheelchairs for people in developing nations around the world. At the same time, MBA students in MIT Sloan's wildly popular Global Lab program, or GLab, have used their newfound business skills to magnify the power of fledgling enterprises, like developing a scalable business model for food carts that deliver nutritious meals to children in Indonesia's poorest neighborhoods. And you've put your shoulders to the wheel that accelerates economic growth by launching the kind of innovation-based businesses that drive our nation's economies and the world's. This year's MIT Sloan graduates alone are already rolling out 35 startup companies as we speak, seven of them built on new technologies invented at MIT. Now, all of you have inherited at least one thing from my generation: a copious stockpile of jargon. Jargon that attempts to capture and control some of the untamed conditions of our world by affixing a name to them: globalization, diversity, work-life balance. And you, quite properly, treat our jargon as quaintly obsolete. You swap the conflicted notion of globalization for the bright conviction that you can work anywhere, and you should. You don't seem to fret much about diversity. You simply choose the people with whom you live and work based on interests and talents that transcend that so yesterday's 20th century view of boundaries. And why would you let your life and your work get out of balance anyway? Just launch a company that values both as much as you do. And you've transformed one jargon-heavy platitude into the great challenge of your generation. Today, we all look out on a world riddled with the manifestly unsustainable systems, from the environment to the global economy, from healthcare to transportation, from water to cities to energy. Ailing systems whose remedies will call on the core strengths of MIT. It is that call on MIT's intellectual resources that brought President Obama to our campus in October to highlight the critical need to develop clean energy technologies at great speed and on a prodigious scale. He urged you to defy the easy complacency of pessimism, reminded you that we are heirs to a legacy of innovation and challenge you to help invent a clean energy future. I'm extremely proud that you are answering that call and expanding its challenge by insisting on and inventing ambitiously sustainable systems. Some of you are inventing sustainable practices through engineering and entrepreneurship. The students who won this year's 100K competition proposed a startup that will bring to the world a nano-engineered cement, stronger than any existing version, and that promises to cut the torrent of CO2 generated during standard concrete production in half. Some of you are pursuing sustainability by rethinking the systems that society depends on, like the AeroAstro students who worked with Professor Mark Drella and others to envision a new plane that consumes 70% less fuel, or the doctoral candidate who analyzed how to balance the rising demand for air travel with improving air quality and climate impacts, and help shape new international rules governing commercial aviation. Some of you create sustainable solutions by applying new technology to old problems, like providing basic, affordable health care for everyone. In this year's Ideas competition, one winning student team invented Perfect Sight, an extremely affordable system for diagnosing nearsightedness and farsightedness using a cell phone. And some of you are pursuing sustainability through policy change. Last week in Congress, Senator Jeff Bingaman introduced an important new energy bill that aims to get dramatic gains in energy efficiency from our complex energy supply chains, a supremely MIT idea that he first learned about through our graduate-led energy club. Graduate student-led energy club. Whatever field you choose, I hope and I fully expect that you will advance the cause of sustainability. But I anticipate that you're going to push us even further, well beyond the cliche, because simple sustainability is simply not enough. It's necessary, but not sufficient. By itself, sustainability resembles the medical principle, first, do no harm, kind of a guardrail to keep you from the precipice. But with the particular strengths of your generation, with the ingenuity and practicality you learned at MIT, and with an appreciation of the distant ramifications of present action, I believe you have the power to set us a more ambitious goal, to move from sustainability to a far-reaching kind of healing, from doing no harm to doing a great deal of good. Graduates of MIT, today is your day and now is your moment. Your moment to take all that you've learned at MIT, the power of analysis, the capacity for good old-fashioned hard work, the fearless creativity, and the commitment to restoring an unsustainable world, and put them to work around the globe. In person and online, through the Alumni Association and through your friends, I encourage you to stay connected to MIT for the rest of your lives. For all that you have created, discovered, invented, explored, and mastered at MIT, congratulations, MIT graduates of 2010.